Hello, Cleveland. Welcome to Mock Draft Monday. I am your host, Anthony Joki. We're over here on the Dawgland. Uh, this is our third one of these that we um, are going to sit through here and kind of have some fun with. This one's a special one because we are going to do the whole AFC North. We're not going to do a full 7 round mock because that would be pretty tedious, but we are going to do 3 rounds, all AFC North teams, kind of take a look at what our division rivals need here in the upcoming draft. And I can't do this alone. Got my co-host Jackson McCurry alongside me. Jack, how we doing, man?
Doing well, man. These have been fun, and seems like everybody on YouTube is enjoying it. And obviously, if you guys are enjoying it and you enjoy Cleveland Browns content, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button to the channel because this is only the beginning of the off season. It's late January. We still got free agency. We got the draft coming up. We'll have tons of content for you guys. So be sure to subscribe to the channel for sure.
I can't believe you busted out about 3 enjoy it's right there. That's gonna make Alex
Not
very
intentionally, I promise you
gonna make
that.
Alex very happy. I think what I should do is for our like subscribe button on our videos, I'm just gonna make it say enjoy it and make it be a clickable button to where people can subscribe to our channel that way. Um,
Yes.
I know Alex will hit the heck out of that thing. But yeah, we wanted to get on here, do a mock draft with all of the AFC North teams. We are doing this one on the Pro Football Network draft simulator. First week was PFF. Last week was Mock Draft Database. This one we are on a different one. We're so thankful for all these different simulators that are out there. It makes this process a lot of fun to kind of see what the different simulators will have and the variance it has between the different ones. So we are going to select obviously the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cleveland Browns. We're going to do a 3 round mock and have the draft speed be fast. And with that, let's get started to see who Tennessee takes number one. I told Jack before we did this, one of the test ones I did, they took Mason Graham number one. Hopefully, it's not that random, but we'll see here. All right, they took Shador Sanders number one. So Jack, that kind of gives us pick here of kind of 3 players we think are all in the running to be the Brown selection here at number two. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Cameron Ward. Um, it's funny, we've done Shador in our first one. We did Abdul Carter in the last one. What are we thinking with this week?
Well, I feel like if he's on the board at two, somehow, the Browns, and if they're going to take a quarterback, Anthony, and I don't know if you're in agreement on this, we could debate it for real quick, but I would think they take Cam Ward. And they bet on the upside that he has, the physical tools, the bazooka for an arm. Like, yes, there's some questions about him, but I think we're in agreement that they had a veteran quarterback as well. But I think if he's on the board at two, and there's no trade offers we're getting right now, I would think Cam Ward makes the most sense here. Especially the Browns are going to take a quarterback at number two, which some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. So who knows what's going to happen? But I feel like we go Ward here.
Yeah, I mean, if he's on the board, I absolutely take Cam Ward in this situation. I'll do that 10 out of 10 times if somehow he gets past Tennessee. So I am totally fine with taking Cam Ward to be the potential franchise quarterback. Hopefully, it's the guy that we've been looking for a very long, long time. So we'll take Cam Ward and see where we end up. The Bengals will pick next at 17.
And we don't have to worry about Dion saying he's not coming because, or Shador's not coming because we didn't have to deal with that.
Right. And then we're not going to do trades either in this one. I think that'd just be way too much to keep track of with with doing 4 different teams. So, all right, the Bengals are on the clock. The mock draft database says they need wide receiver, tight end, corner, defensive tackle, and then a center as well. You want to take a look here at their depth chart and kind of look at their roster really quick?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So, uh, obviously, big storyline this offseason. What's going to happen with T. Higgins? What's going to happen with Jamar Chase? So, receiver definitely an option there. Um, they have kind of piecemealed together an offensive line. They took Amarius Mims last year in the first round in the 2024 NFL draft. Um, Definitely use a tight end. Gesicki is a free agent upcoming. Um, Defense wise, a lot of people returning. That B.J. Hill, Mike Hilton, their nickelback. So a lot of starters coming back next year. There are some question marks, obviously, but the biggest storyline with them is what's going to happen with the two star receivers that they have.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jamar's got one more year, and they'll pick up the fifth year option, I'm sure. Or no, wait, this will be the fifth year option. So this is time is being wasted, not extending him. Is amazing. It didn't happen last year, but we know T. Higgins is going to free agency. We know Burrow wants them to keep him, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. If we go back to the board, we see, Will Campbell's available, offensive tackle, who may be a guard. So that actually would be perfect for them because Cody Ford, left guard, going to free agency. You pair Campbell and Orlando Brown on the left side. That would be huge. Tyler Warren, top tight end in the draft. I mean, he is an offensive weapon for them. If they want to go pure guard, Tyler Booker, uh, Benjamin Morrison, the cornerback from Notre Dame. Like, there's a lot of intriguing options here, Anthony. Which way are you leaning right now for Cincinnati here?
Um, I could see because last year they lost a receiver. What was this? Remind me, the receiver that went away in free agency last year.
Oh, um, Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd.
Yeah.
Um, they're probably going to lose T Higgins this year in free agency, so that leaves them with Jamar Chase as the main weapon. And if I were the Bengals, if it's not offensive line, I would go tight end here. Get uh, Joe Burrow, a safety net, somebody um, that they can creatively use. I think Tyler Ward can do just about anything offensively, and I think it would be a good selection for them.
Yeah, I'm actually with you, and I've been saying it since the moment they drafted Joe Burrow. They have to invest in that offensive line. They've done that, bringing Orlando Brown in free agency, drafting Amarius Mims, filling in the gaps with Ted Karras and Cody Ford. But Will Campbell, I think, is a top 10 prospect in this draft class, at least top 15. So if he was here at 17, and there's the debate, obviously, of whether he's a tackle or a guard, he's probably going to kick inside at the pro level. And like I said, pairing him up next to Orlando Brown and Ted Karras on the middle on that left side of the offensive line, I think that would be huge for Cincinnati. So I would go Will Campbell here, but the choice is yours.
Um, yeah, I think that makes sense. Get something solid in front of Joe Burrow. They spent all that money to extend him. Might as well do your best job in terms of protecting him. So I'm completely with you there, going with Will Campbell as well.
If Campbell wasn't there, Tyler Warren would be the no brainer. But with Campbell being there, I think that would be a home run pick for the Bengals.
All right, so we'll go Will Campbell here, and then the Steelers are next. Trades. All right, so Pittsburgh, um, quarterback situation definitely up in the air for them heading into this offseason. Both Russell
The whole
Wilson,
room is free
yeah, the
agents.
the whole room. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Kyle Allen, all free agents. As you can see, there's a lot of green on the screen, uh, which is unrestricted free agents. So this whole roster is going to potentially get a makeover. They do have their core pieces. They have Pickens. They have Zach Frazier, Tony Fatanu, who they took in last year's draft with their top two selections. They have, you know, TJ Watt, Patrick Queen, who they signed last year in free agency, Alex Highsmith, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr. So they have a good core of players. It's going to be finding the supporting cast and obviously the quarterback here, um, going into next season. What do you think they do at the quarterback position? Because I don't really think there's anybody for them to take here in the first round. So whether it's going to be Justin Fields, bringing back Russell Wilson, um, you know, going after somebody in free agency. What do you think is the plan here for them?
Well, I know they are discussing a free agent. They're in talks to re-sign Russell Wilson, which I think would be a good like veteran bridge type quarterback. I think Russ did okay. I think down the stretch he started to fade out, but for the most part, like I think the offense took a step forward with him under center over Justin Fields, even though Fields was, winning ball games. So it really wasn't all on him. It was around the talent around him. But I think they bring back Wilson. They may even bring back Fields too and let them compete again for the starting job. But I feel like Fields probably goes somewhere where he has a chance to start, at least, have give a strong competition. But I do think they draft a quarterback at some point. Maybe in the first round they take a swing on Jalen Milroe, much like they did a few years ago with Kenny Pickett, and that didn't work out. But like you look at the quarterbacks available, they could take Jackson Dart in round two, Quinn Ewers or Will Howard on at the end of day two, or maybe a swing on a Kyle McCord, Curtis Rourke, Dylan Gabriel in day three. But I think they try to resolve the quarterback position somehow. I wouldn't like bank on any of the guys in this draft class right now. I don't really see a clear cut like diamond in the rough. I see guys that could be average starters in the league potentially if they get in the right situation. And Pittsburgh's always been a good situation, but it'll be interesting to see how they approach the quarterback position because they've been just trying to piece it together since Ben's retirement, but they have not been able to find that true franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't know if where they're sitting at in the draft if they could find that guy. Um, there could be another very short term solution in free agency for them. I could also see them, going. We'll see what happens with Dan Moore here. I could see them going tackle. They went two offensive line in last year. Um, do they really have the whole cornerstone of their line now if they were to pick up a left tackle? There is one on the board, Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, which we would obviously hate to see. Um, but I don't know. Where do you think they go here?
I think there's no quarterback, and I see the corner from Notre Dame, Benjamin Morrison, there, and I feel like they go and address corner because Dante Jackson's a free agent. They don't have somebody long term to pair up with Joey Porter Jr., who's still on his rookie deal. And I feel like that'll be a good scenario because Joey can get paid after this coming season, after his third season. Um, and you can take another young corner to pair up with Porter. So I would go Benjamin Morrison here. I know you mentioned Simmons. Obviously, there's the Buckeye uh, love that the Steelers have because they're always taking Buckeyes, going back to like Santonio Holmes, Ryan Shazier. Uh, you know, there's been numerous Buckeye. Cam Hayward, like there's 3 first round talents they've drafted in the last 20 years out of Ohio State. So they could certainly go that route as well with Simmons. But for me personally, if I was Pittsburgh, I'd probably address corner and solidify that secondary with Porter Jr., Minka, and then take Benjamin Morrison. But which way would you go here?
Yeah, I could definitely see it because their nickel corner Cam Sutton is also a free agent as well. So
Yes.
they're very thin. Um, you know, they love taking defensive players with their first round picks. It just kind of seems like that's been their thing over the years. Why their defense been so great. Um, you know why they've had this run of 500 or better for so many years. So I could definitely see Benjamin Morrison here if he's available, or another corner. But
And or maybe they take Tyleek Williams to replace Cam Hayward with a Buckeye for a Buckeye. Like I would hate that, but I mean I could see that being a possibility
yeah,
too.
yeah, it could be. I think we go corner here, and we'll go Benjamin Morrison. And the Ravens will be next up. Trades. All right. Looking at the Ravens roster, uh, their left tackle and left guard, both free agents. Uh, Nelson Aguilar, one of the receivers. On the defensive side, Malik Harrison, Brandon Stevens, both free agents. And then Darius Washington is a restricted free agent heading into this offseason. So, another playoff exit for the Ravens, and without getting back to the Super Bowl, um, obviously huge disappointment for them. Where do you see, the Ravens in terms of this offseason?
This is going to be interesting because, there's multiple offensive linemen available right now. Ronnie Stanley's been the solid left tackle for them for basically the last decade. And you
Been
mentioned
hurt quite a bit as well.
and he's been hurt. So I think the Ravens would strongly take that into consideration. You see, they really only have Bateman and Flowers and Des Walker. Those are their three receivers currently that'll be on the roster for next year because the other four are heading to free agency. Um, like defensively, they don't really need much. I mean, they got some guys that are. I mean, you look Van Noy and Pierce, like those are the veterans. I wouldn't be shocked if they took a pass rusher just because like always had a good year, but like Ajabo hasn't panned out yet. Van Noy's getting up there, so they could certainly go some kind of some type of pass rusher to put into that front seven. Like when you look at who's on the board, Mike Green from Marshall, Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. I don't think they'd reach for either of the Buckeyes, JTT or Jack Sawyer yet. They could probably get them at the end of day two, as the boards are currently constructed. Um, but like I'm always been a line guy. Like offensive line, like they gotta find, I think Stanley's replacement. And it pains me to put a Buckeye in Baltimore, but I'd probably go Josh Simmons because they found their right tackle in Roger Rosengarten in the draft last year. But you got to start looking for that long term left tackle.
Can can
And
can,
like,
can we play favorites here and go Jonah instead, and so we don't give them Buckeye? Do,
uh,
do, do we want to play favorites here in this
do
situation?
you want the Ravens fans coming at us in the comments for like being biased Buckeye fans to like keep them away from the team?
What Ravens fans?
I'm sure there's some out there. Uh,
um,
I mean, other than that, like, do they like it says corner? Like, go back to the Ravens depth chart real quick. There's not really a corner up there. Stevens is hitting free agency. Marlon Humphrey, he's entering what year eight, nine, year nine,
also
and
somebody who's been hurt quite a bit as well.
right,
They
but
took
they did draft Nate Wiggins last year.
they have a really young
So corner,
secondary. All these guys they brought in last year: Wiggins, Kane, Bo Braid, PJ Tampa. All these guys brought in last year.
yeah. So they probably wouldn't go secondary. There's no wide receiver like on towards the top of the board to really go get. So I would think like Josh Simmons makes sense here for them. Like it's either that or maybe a D tackle because Pierce is getting closer to retirement. You have Matabike, who you signed to a big contract. So Tyleek Williams could be in play. Like, I mean, either Buckeye, honestly. Like that's what I would do. Cause I mean, it's all about the trenches, especially in the AFC North. Like,
Right.
so where
It's
would you
tough.
go here?
I personally don't want to do the Buck.
Right.
it,
No,
it
I
pains
get
me.
it.
It pains me so much to do it.
I mean,
Um,
there's Jihad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama. Like Ozzie Newsome's still there. He loves his Crimson Tide boys because he was one himself. So
right.
I don't
Um,
know. You do it.
I'm taking Jonah because I can't bring
You
myself to do it.
I love it.
I can't. All right. In terms of the Browns here, very interesting
The
options.
board looks nice for us,
It
I will say.
it certainly does. There are a handful of players that we could go in a situation. So, Josh Simmons is one. Alec Williams another. Xavier Watts is certainly somebody
Another
that could uh, be an option. Colson Loveland, tight end, as well. Uh,
Hampton, the running back.
yep. And then you look at edge. Landon Jackson. I'm not sure how early you would consider these guys, but could definitely use an edge player as well to go opposite Miles Garrett. So I guess this is where uh, you would want to rank, the need at this point. Obviously, we took off quarterback, so offensive tackle, receiver, running back, corner is what Pro Football Network says. Um, edge I think is definitely important in there as well. Where would you go here? What are your thoughts?
If I had to rank the players right now, I'd go Simmons, Watt, Tyleek, Loveland, Hampton. That's how I'd rank the top five right now. That's so like I just said it. I love the trenches. I think that really once you find the quarterback, that's the next thing you really have to build in terms of roster building. Um, so I'd probably go Simmons here, but I wouldn't be mad if like we said let's get Tyleek, shore up the interior of that defensive line for the future with Mike Hall and Tyleek Williams, double Buckeyes. They can get mentored by Shelby Harris, Dalvin Tomlinson, but like Xavier Watts, you talk about playmaking safeties. We talked about it on our last podcast episode about the one-on-one battle between him and Travion Henderson on that wheel route. It was pure football, pure class by both guys. So like I'm torn because I really like the group of prospects we got right here available for the Browns here.
Um, I I I would love Simmons. I think in this situation, you drafted a quarterback. You need a left tackle. Might as well protect the quarterback. We talked about that with Joe Burrow earlier. Might as well
Yes.
protect him.
Yeah.
If you're gonna draft a guy, so I'm perfectly fine with going, offensive tackle.
Let's do it. Let's take Simmons here.
And you could call us homers all you want for making him not go to the Ravens, and I'm totally fine with that.
Right.
All right. So we're at the Bengals here in the second round. Some interesting guys on the board. Watts is still here. Do we talk about guard for them?
We did. Well, we took Will Campbell, so
Yeah.
that's we're
Oh, that's right.
penciling him in as the left guard. So,
That's right.
um,
Um, or Edge. And
they got
Hubbard,
Hubbard,
Hendrickson.
Trey Hendrickson, who might be Defensive Player of the Year here in a couple weeks. Hopefully, it's Miles Garrett, but Trey's definitely earned it with the season he had. Could go D tackle because BJ Hill is going into free agency. Although they did draft a couple
Ooh,
guys, Chris
yeah.
Jenkins and McKinney Jackson. So D tackle's probably off the board here, but
Maybe
uh
receiver or tight end.
I was gonna say receiver is in play here. We got Restrepo, who's right there.
Isaiah
They
Bond.
drafted Jermaine Burton. Yeah. So I was about to say they drafted Jermaine Burton last year and he's got a bunch of character issues, and there's rumors that Isaiah Bond has character issues, and the Bengals have a history of drafting guys with character issues, but Restrepo he's a guy that's got speed. He's definitely had the potential to be a playmaker. Little guy at 5'10", 198. So Uh, yeah, he is somebody that if they lost T. Higgins, he'd be a guy that you pair up with Jamar and forget the other guy's name from I think he's from Princeton. What is it?
Andre Jasovich.
Yeah,
Jasovich.
I forget how you pronounce his name, but he has shown flashes of being a
Ostrovas. I think
playmaker.
it's Ostrovas.
Oh, Savas. Yes,
Yeah.
that's it. Thank you, Anthony. Good call, but
Of all people, I get the pronunciation right.
but yeah, he's got potential, but like I think right here at this point, with the board shaped up as it is, I think Restrepo makes too much sense for Cincinnati
Yeah.
here
I, I I'm
at pick 49.
I'm with you there. All right. Steelers. It would be their luck. Like somebody like Xavier Watts would fall to them. All the way down there. However, I think they're
They
pretty
don't really
good
need
at
safety.
safety. But they do draft for 2-3 years down the road. Well,
Correct. And Minka's getting up there. I went.
sorry, just yell at me
No,
if
you're
I get
good.
too click happy here.
You're good.
James Daniels, free agent, the right guard. We have Wyatt Moon. available, as well as Donovan Jackson in terms of guards. If that's the route we want to go,
Yeah.
uh,
Um,
defensive tackle. We talked about
as
that earlier.
as much as it would pain me, like let's look at quarterbacks real quick. Like who's on the board for them? Quinn, you okay? And I don't feel like Ewers. I think it's too early for either one of those guys. Wide receivers, because ooh, this is gonna pain me, and it'll probably pain some Browns fans. Not going Isaiah Bond here, but I'm gonna give them Matthew Golden because this guy might not even be here at the end of day two because there's a lot of hype with him. He's gonna test very well at the combine. Um, George Pickens. I can't see the Pittsburgh Steelers extending his contract. So I do feel like they try to go make a move at wide receiver this offseason, whether it's, trading for a veteran and drafting one, but I do think they add one at one point. I would go Matthew Golden here. But I am up for any debate that you want to make here because there's obviously better players on the board at this point for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And it
I
would pain me. I'll make a strong case for Wyatt Millum, who I can't wait to see at the Senior Bowl this week to see how he does. There's banter back and forth that he might kick inside to guard too, but he was a solid left tackle for
yeah,
West Virginia.
this site actually lists him as a guard. Uh,
Yeah.
so I would go Milam only because they really focus on rebuilding this offensive line. Last year, their top two picks were offensive linemen. James Daniels is a free agent. They do have Mason McCormick, who they drafted in the fourth round last year, as a guy who could potentially step in. Um,
Yes.
but I could see them, going that route again. And getting a guy who could maybe play both guard and tackle, like if needed in a pinch. Um, I would be totally fine going with Milam here.
Yeah. I have no. Yeah. If we want, well, Millum's good pick here at this point in terms of value. And look, Matthew Golden went right after the Chargers.
All right. Ravens as a refresher. Um, we had them take a left tackle in the first round. Did they go guard here? I did see Donovan Jackson still there, so we can say we're not totally homers if we give them Donovan Jackson. But um, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, go back to their depth chart real quick. I look, okay, Sawyer doesn't make sense for them. Neither does hit Princely's name on the scouting reports real quick. The kid from Ole Miss. 6'5", 256. See,
Yeah, he's
those
more.
guys make more sense to me as guys with their hands in the dirt. So I don't think that makes sense. I mentioned D tackle and Dion Walker from Kentucky's there because how are they at linebacker? Malik Harrison, Chris Board are going to free agency. They got Roquan. I would go Barrett Carter from Clemson
Eric
to
Carter.
plug into the middle of that defense.
I'll go with you there.
Like I could see them going pass rusher, but like I don't think Princely or Sawyer makes too much sense. And of course, Sawyer goes to the Kansas City Chiefs at 64.
Few picks too
That
early.
would that would pain me because Karlaftis is there, and I loved him in 2022 before the Deshaun trade as an option for the Browns. And lo and behold, they get Jack Sawyer to pair up with him. It's
All right, so
all right.
we
So we're
went quarterback,
Cam Ward, Josh
offensive
Simmons.
tackle first. Do we want to stick offense? Maybe find a running back. Um, maybe find if there's a tight end. Um, do we want to consider guard? Because of Batonio and Wyatt Teller. What are your thoughts here?
Both Ohio State running backs are there. I'd like to go defense, and honestly, like this is one of the guys that are going to be at the Senior Bowl this week. I'd go Princely just because what's been our motto for almost 9 years now, Anthony.
You can never have enough pass rush.
And even though we got Miles, who's hopefully going to be two-time Defensive Player of the Year, and we got Alex Wright, and we got Isaiah McGuire, who really took a step forward, and we still got Ogbo, which we'll see what his future holds. But I see these edges, and I would just love to get my hands on one, and I would take a stab on Princely. I'm
No,
anxious to watch him this week at Senior Bowl week and see what he can do.
yeah, I'll go with you here. I think
Especially
that
45th ranked prospect, we're getting him at 67. Like that would be a home run pick at this point.
as much as I would love like Travion in this spot, um, I think
Or Quinshawn,
yeah,
because they just
yeah, I think Princely would be a good option.
absolutely.
All right, the Bengals
Who have we drafted for them so far?
on
Jonah or
tackle and receiver for them.
okay.
So they could potentially use a guard, tight end, defensive tackle, corner.
Well, remember we drafted Will Campbell to be a guard,
Oh,
so
that's right.
he's
All right, so you've told me that 2 times already. With the
it's
last two
okay.
picks.
It's hard to it's. I mean, you see that he's listed as a tackle, so it's all good.
So we got receivers. So you're probably looking at tight end, D tackle, nickelback, as
Yeah.
options.
Do what's Everett scouting report from Georgia?
Coming soon.
6'1", 195. He's probably not a nickel. Oh,
Do we want to boost their edge room because Hendrickson and Hubbard getting up there?
yeah.
I know they do have some younger guys, but they do
Asai.
have a couple free agents there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind like Kennard. I think is it Kennard? Yeah, best one on the board. What's his measurables? 6'5", 254. Yeah. I mean, he has a chance to sit back and learn behind two solid pass rushers, like beef up their defense. As much as it pains me to say that as a Browns fan, like Kennard at this point would be good value as
Yeah,
well. So
I think that would
makes
be totally fine as well. Pittsburgh. So we've happy.
oh, you're good.
We've gone corner and guard for them.
I think at this point you take a stab on one of the quarterbacks. If you're Pittsburgh, third round, like it's
Quinn
like Quinn
Ewers,
Ewers, Will Howard.
Dylan Gabriel, Kyle
Yeah,
McCord.
that's a bit of a reach at this point. Kyle McCord, who's off to a good start at the Shrine Bowl as of this recording. So I mean, they could wait, but I mean, Quinn Ewers, like it's amazing, like the hype that he had coming out of high school when he enrolled at Ohio State early, obviously transfers to Texas, didn't really live up to the hype, but like I still think the talent's there. You just got to find the right spot for him, and like Pittsburgh might be the right spot for him. It might even be the right spot for Will Howard, and it's just I don't know. I feel like either one of those guys makes sense. Like Will Howard kind of fits what like Russell Wilson can do.
Six
I
four
feel
two,
like
6'4", bigger guy.
yeah, they like the bigger guy. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's a big guy. Like, ugh. Browns fans, I'm sorry, but Anthony, at this point, I'd take Will Howard if I was Pittsburgh.
Will Howard.
But I mean, yep,
All right, we'll go
it
there.
hurts, but it's okay. We got Cam Ward.
All right, Baltimore. We've taken so far a tackle, linebacker, for them. Um, where do you potentially see them going here?
Um, Hmm.
You know,
Go back to
when you look at the roster, they're pretty strong across the board, obviously.
they are.
So
I mean, they were one of the.
at this point, do you kind of want to, kind of go almost best player available in this situation for them?
I mean, they need wide receiver help. They got Bateman, Flowers, and Walker. Like, I'm sure they'll add somebody in free agency, but uh, Kyron Lacey, 6'2", 213-pound wide receiver. Or no, wait, is he the one that's got the baggage? I don't remember. Let me look that up real quick. I think he's the one that's in legal trouble.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
he is
think
the
you're
one
right.
that's in legal trouble. We're not going to take him. Let's see what wide receivers are available here. Obviously, there's a drop off. Tight end doesn't make sense, even though like most of Baltimore does not like Mark Andrews right now. Um, they don't need running backs. I mentioned D tackle. Did they? We didn't take a D tackle for them yet, did we?
No, no, he took
Yeah.
tackle linebacker.
Let's take Shamar Turner for them,
Turner.
who's going to be at the Senior Bowl this week as well, so he's going to be one to watch. Um, but yeah, let's boost their interior defensive line. Let's take Shamar Turner.
All right, so I think this is the last pick
Yes,
that
this
we
is the
have
last
here.
pick for everybody. And of
So
course, it's the Cleveland Browns. Starts with the Browns, ends with the Browns, just like it's meant to be.
all right, taking Cam Ward, Josh Simmons, Princely, corner, tackle, and edge. Um, I can see tight end in this situation. I can see safety here. Uh, defensive tackle.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, the way I see it right now, Anthony, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, but Gunnar Helm, I mean, getting Cam Ward a nice weapon, big body, 6'6", 249 for the Browns, pair him up with Njoku, maybe even be the long-term replacement at tight end. Like,
Curious how his blocking is. I'm trying to remember from when we did the PFF. I think we looked at him. Can't remember how good his blocking was.
I don't think it was very good, but I always remember David Njoku was not the greatest blocker coming out of Miami. Yeah, his blocking is not that good, but
How about
like
Elijah Aurora? That name hasn't
not
popped
not
across yet.
familiar with him right now in the draft. He's 6'4", 245 is what he's listed. He will be at the Senior Bowl this week too. Decent blocker. Comparisons. One of his player comps is Isaiah Likely from
Okay.
Baltimore. So I have not watched him. It's another tight end from the U, which is interesting because obviously we already have one tight end from the U, but I don't know. I like Gunnar Helm's playmaking ability, I'm not gonna lie, but
What are your thoughts on safety? Because we you know we'll definitely need one this off season. You have Jalen Reed, you have Rod Moore here, Billy Bowman a little bit further down.
it's funny that Jalen Reed is a top 100 prospect on here, and I'm pretty sure we drafted him like one of our seventh round picks in a mock the last couple weeks. So that I think it might have been PFF, but that just goes to show like the difference in the draft boards. But yeah, safety's obviously definitely a need. Um, Rod Moore didn't play at all last year, so that would be you're betting on what he's done in the past. Jalen Reed is good. Wouldn't be opposed to safety. Wouldn't be opposed to taking a running back at this point. Giddens is there. We can see what other running backs are on the board at this point as well. Yeah, not really.
All the more top so guys are gone.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like if I had to rank them, Helm, R- Reed, Moore, like maybe even taking a stab at Arroyo just based on his physical tools. and what he's done so far, like what he did in college. Um, but yeah, but this is the thing. Reading a quick scouting report, um, he's had multiple injuries in his career, so now you got to worry about Arroyo's
Okay,
durability.
which we already semi worried about that with the tight end we have too. So,
Yes,
um, I'll go with you. I'll go on our helm here. Have two tight ends that could be fairly reliable, especially if we're going back to a lot of 12 personnel on this team. I think they could do a lot of creative things with that, and getting another offensive weapon is not a terrible thing. So I'm with you.
absolutely.
I'll go Gunnar Helm here. That'll wrap up this mock draft. So we'll go kind of team by team here. Jonah, I am not even right that last name. Offensive tackle for Arizona. Barrett Carter, Jamar Turner for the Ravens. For the Bengals, Will Campbell, Xavier Estrepo, Kyle Kennard. For the Steelers, Benjamin Morrison, Wyatt Millum, Will Howard. And for the Cleveland Browns, Cameron Ward, Princely, Josh Simmons, and Gunnar Helm. I'm If this is the first 4 picks for the Browns, I am pretty darn happy this year.
I am too. Absolutely. And I think we did well for each of the AFC North teams. Like, even though we don't really like any of the other AFC North
No,
teams, I think
no, we don't.
we set them up for the future quite well.
Yeah.
And to Pittsburgh fans, you're welcome for Will Howard.
So be sure to drop a couple comments down here. Give us your thoughts on our the Browns draft, as well as if you're a Ravens, Bengals, Steelers fan, which I'm not sure why you would be, but and watching this content, but if you are, be sure to give us your thoughts on our draft for your team. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, just hope you guys liked this. If you did, of course, hit that like button. And if you like our Browns content, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
If you enjoy it, you're welcome, Alex. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. With all that, we're gonna get on out of here. Be sure to follow Jack on X at JackMcCurry08. Give me a follow at Anthony Joki JOKI. You can find the Dawgland here on YouTube as well on X and Facebook at the same handle. And until next time, always remember, go Browns.